can give depth to this kind of an initiative of a lot of innovations which are happening in our country. And let me tell you, these innovations are world-class innovations. We are publishing papers, we are in international conferences, our work is being recognized in international conferences, these products are being, the technologies are being recognized in international conferences, and even we are getting not only Indian patents but even PCT patents, European patents and American patents for these technologies. But still we don't see the proliferation in India, probably as I feel that the lack of single point interface or a single agency, a large agency which has the strength enough to withstand and withstand that time period which takes for a technology to grow or for a product to grow and roll out into the market. There are certain examples which I'll tell you. We have systems where we can use mobiles for recognizing the voice of farmers who are speaking in Bangla. It's been done in 8 languages, and these initiatives have been taken by the Technology Development of TDIL, which is a division in the DIT, Technology Development for Indian Languages. A large amount of data gathering is involved in this case, and it's been done for Bangla and a lot of 7 more languages in India, including Malayalam and Telugu. So you speak to the mobile, it recognizes which district and what is the commodity you want the price, and once it recognizes your voice properly, it goes on to a website, fetches the price and tells you that okay, in your district mandi the price of say the kind of variety of rice or potato is this much. So a farmer knows he cannot be duped by unscrupulous elements, and he goes and sells his produce there. Then there is a large amount of investment which has been carried out in sensor-based instruments for quality evaluation of agro-produce, which involves a large amount of agro-produce which we can test with the help of sensor-based systems. Some of these have reached the marketplace in terms of transfer of technology. There are problems to solve this problem of more crop per drop. There are institutes which have developed drip irrigation systems, but the controllers are imported from abroad and makes it a very, very costly and unviable solution to be used by farmers. You have fertigation, where the application of fertilizers along with the water is done to the crops. Make it a very cost-effective solution where IT is involved. Now these kind of solutions, a large-scale rollout of these kind of solutions is awaiting us to give them cheap solutions, indigenous solutions. Then you have the problem of water body management. I was told, and I was quite surprised, that West Bengal is a fish deficient state, and we are getting fish from Andhra or some other places. It was quite surprising, but I think it's anyone can tell me if I'm not correct. I think yes. So then it came up that okay, there are water bodies in the northeastern states like Assam, neighboring state and all, which the state government wants to monitor these water bodies with the help of GIS-based systems, so that they can give them a contract to people who want to carry out pisciculture in these and earn their livelihood. So these kind of initiatives are possible, and they are highly, highly possible. It doesn't take too much of even innovation to have these kind of technologies in place. It's just the initiative. Then there are systems required in godowns where food grains are stored in order to detect the moisture content at various places. In case we can detect this moisture in time, we can prevent the rotting of food grains. These kind of systems have now started being built. Probably they should be in place. Again, IT-based systems. And as was brought up by Mr. Bhattacharya, a large amount of data crunching takes place. Large amount of data from wireless sensor networks coming to one place, analyzed, decisions taken, decision support systems required. Systems for monitoring midday meal schemes in schools. Again, a very large initiative, but yet to be solved. A large amount of food grain or food stuff which is being doled out of the public distribution system to the schools, it goes waste because probably it is not being monitored properly. And then of course you have the concept of smart cities which has been rolled out recently. It has enormous opportunity for the IT sector, the civil engineering sector, where you can have your CAD designs integrated with the solar energy panels and the designs, making your buildings more solar energy efficient, more green, so on and so forth. Your smart card based solutions which run the life for you, which have a single smart card can do your healthcare monitoring and access control, your maybe payments, a small amount of payments, and so on and so forth. We have some initiatives coming up in CDAC where we are developing our own smart card ecosystem for initially starting with the campus, the university campus-wide smart card system, where it can take care of most of the functions for students. Once it rolls out, I think it can be done for a wider clientele, for a wider amount of functions. And of course, the next thing is the data collection from all these initiatives to be automated to provide the correct perspective to the government. That is very important, because the planning and the perspectives in the future of the programs which have been rolled out, it's very, very important that the correct feedback goes to the government. So you require a lot of systems based on automated systems based on sensor networks which can gather data of what is going on, feedback from these things, in order to give it to the government. Right now they have certain cells which are located in each state. The Planning Commission has certain cells which are located in each state, and they gather data in a semi-automated form, part manually, part by computer, teams going out, punching in data in laptops, and then putting it on systems, which is integrated and goes up. So it does involve a lot of subjectivity, human error, error of judgment, etc. Then there is a requirement of GIS and RFID based solutions for inland waterway management, so freight, and also freight on roads. Recently a company approached us that they wanted tamper-proof IT based solutions to provide pilferage of petroleum products in transit. I believe there is a lot of pilferage of petroleum products taking place in transit from the refineries to the place where it is actually being used, and huge amount of petroleum, diesel, petrol, and so many other things, it is pilfered on the way. And there is no way, we have tried solutions from Australia and so many other countries, it has not worked. So there is a need for very innovative GIS based, CDMA or GSM based solutions or whatever. A lot of innovation and original thinking has to be put into place in order to have such tamper-proof solutions which can immediately pinpoint any kind of tampering to those locks on the lorries which carry these petroleum products. That is it's a crying need for the day. And of course, that is not for the audience, but for the policy makers, that all this requires a long-term vision, perspective, regular monitoring, and a will to perform. All said and done. So with this, I come to the end of my whatever I have to say, my ideas and my vision which I have to share with you. And I think at the end of this session we can have certain question answers. So that's it, and I hope I have given sufficient food for thought to tickle the minds and brains of people here who may look at these problems and take some suitable initiatives in these areas, and I am sure they will be rewarding. Thank you.
We will come to the question session after the next one. That is, I would request now Mr. Nirmal Kumar, the General Manager of Webel, to put his vision, his IT Bengal as a strategic vision.
Distinguished panelists and my respected friends in the audience, good morning everybody. Before I start, I just want to pull a little bit of discussion yesterday we had regarding the opportunities in IT in Bengal and as well as India. See, our IT industry, you can say globally, we have pulled the IT industry at a stage where India has total contribution. So we will continue to do this contribution, and because of our young talents and our talents at reasonable cost. These two things actually will pull further long way to go. You know, it is interesting to know, see, another 2025, around 10% of the commercial aircraft will fly, take off automatically, fly and land automatically. Same way, around 2040, we will have this around few good amount of car in Western countries will run automatically without driverless. So the amount of software, the modeling has to come, and the Indian has to contribute on this. And so for that, our opportunity is really unbelievable. So we should not have any doubt of a competitiveness of Indian, and we are much ahead with any IT industry in the other country, because the other countries, they are using our resources only. So next comes the so another yesterday discussion we were having the this big data. So to have this all these innovations has to come through the big data analysis. So once we start analyzing those big data, so we have to have big information systems, big storage system, and big infrastructure. And Mr. Dasgupta was talking about the Calcutta will become another analytical centers. To have a big analytical centers, we have to have a big storage system, big server systems, and to maintain those server systems, today agenda which was given to us is the big infrastructure. So to have this big infrastructure, we have to have lot of basic infrastructure to support those infrastructure. Otherwise, we cannot have those complicated calculations, decision makings. And next comes the see, regarding Mr. Nath, I want to have 2-3 points clarified. He was telling about the vernacular language, some farmer cell. Webel has we have launched in 6 districts about it's called Matir Kotha, where we have launched it in our Bengali language, and it is Android based application, and we have distributed around 200 Android phones which are used by who is helping farmers, and they get we get around 100 questions every day, and around 70 is being answered on the spot. And till we have launched it around 2 months now, we have around 8,000 questions, and all the farmers are getting live help, almost live help in Bengali. See, this is just a launch around 2 months ago, and it is being helped, and they get the amount of fertilizer they have to give, amount of every help online they get, so that in these 2 months time if we get the feedback that how much productivity they have improved. And another things also we have started, as you said, the smart card system. We have launched with the government of West Bengal one smart card system also, that is for the unorganized worker. We have given a smart card. We have almost given 12 lakhs of a smart card where they can have their medical insurance, and they have around insurance of 30,000 rupees, and they have a PF. they give 25 rupees per month, and the government pays 25 rupees, the 50 rupees is being stored in his account, and he goes with their smart card and encash those actually. It is not yet connected to the bank, but they have, because they have, it is all in their hand to have what amount of money they have in their accounts and all that. And now come the topic of my, this is infrastructure. Infrastructure, we have in OABL we have built a data center which is absolute world class data center, which is being built for the, mostly for the state government, but the similar things can be built by the other partners, maybe with the help of a PP2 model or some model, so that all this big data or whatever analysis they want to do, they can have their data center there. And because these data centers are huge capital incentive investment, where you have to start from the installing big civil, and now at least you have a lot of beautiful building in this city, so that you can build your data center there. But to start a data center, other than the civil cost, there are many other costs on the electrical side, the air conditioning side, the internal decoration side, so that leads a lot of costing. So these, for this you have to have very modern housing and the modern technology to be used to have this kind of setup. And to those have to have the setup, and you have to have the proper engineers. Normally in our country, mostly the engineers are not being used for this kind of setup. But for to have this kind of setup, you have to have engineer from the civil side, engineer from the electrical side. All kinds of engineer is required who will be building, maintaining those buildings actually. And as to have this kind of infrastructure, you have to have proper kind of internet bandwidth has to come in. Internet bandwidth also you cannot directly, for a simple operator you cannot take it. You have to have a big operator with multiple input, multiple fibers, and which has many landing stations, and with bigger ring, so that you get the 100% availability of the connectivity. And the normal, whatever in our data center we have the proper firewalls. You have to, because this is a quite cost sensitive. So once you are going for this kind of setup, we have to have many data centers like this, so that we can pull. Which data centers are not much located in our country, other than our own Indian big banks, big corporations, and big government setups. So have to pull those big setup and big data analysis, we have to have big data center in our locations. With this I want to conclude my, any questions on this we can discuss after this. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Rai. Now the questions, couple of questions from the floor, then we will conclude the session.
My name is Malcolm Munsif. I've got some very small questions. Very small. One is the first is to Mr. Kaushik Bhattacharya. He spoke something that today clients are shifting to a mode of payment outcome based rather than solution based. Would you kindly explain? Then the gentleman from CDAC spoke about drip irrigation, that we are making the systems very efficiently here, but some part of it is imported. Sprinklers are imported. So, but control systems are being imported. But we've got a technology agreement with Israel, which is the world leader in sprinkler systems and drip irrigation. So why not take it from them? We've got an existing cooperation agreement as far as I know. And the third one is,
just one by one, can I just request you to
Small
first?
thing.
Okay, I'll take it that question. Let Kaushik answer the first question.
Am I audible? To answer your question, sir, the model I was referring to was outcome based. It is a trend which is not new. It has been happening for a while. Today, most clients are looking at a mixed model. So traditionally, payments used to be based for IT services based on milestones. You reach a milestone, a certain system goes live, or a certain transition is completed, and payments were made, because that was the definition. Today, clients are trying to link the installation or upgrade of software to the business outcomes that those were meant to be driven. So for instance, if an IT service company installs a finance system to a client, they will now, many of them are insisting that part of the payment be deferred till their operating numbers come to the level that they wanted. So if they were looking for efficiency in the financial systems, when that efficiency level is reached, a part of the payment will be released. So currently it's a mixed model. Some payments are still made based on milestones, but some are being tied to actual outcomes. And the reason for this is that for many years the feeling was that IT companies come, implement systems and go away, but they don't necessarily drive the benefits that the business was looking for. Now, that's a combination of many things, whether the design system was designed properly or not, but that is the
line manager's job, the operating system person's job. The IT system will be built according to the specification given to the IT department.
Right.
After that, whether sales improve or not, that is the line manager.
Right, so that is the traditional thinking, but nowadays because of sophisticated systems, some clients where there's a partnership is at a large scale are asking for such modes of payment. It is not completely prevalent yet, but it is a trend that we need to make note of, and IT companies have to think of helping clients reach those outcomes. That means partnering closely with the business processes, make sure that it is addressing the needs, and of course, like you rightly said, the business users also have to be aligned with the vision of the original plan, so that those outcomes can be reached closer. So that's the trend that is beginning to happen. Does that answer your question? Thank you.
Yeah, your question was more about the drip irrigation. Well, my feedback is based on our interactions with our technology partner who have bought our other technologies which are to do with the quality evaluation of agro produce, Nagarjan Fertilizers and Chemicals Limited. They have a huge plant where they manufacture these fertigation systems. Now, why these systems are still not very cost effective for the Indian people is because of the control system which is yet imported. And they have matured the technology for the metallurgy and other aspects of the drip irrigation system, which is also quite a bit because it involves very sophisticated manufacturing alloys, etc., for things which don't get choked up. But the decision support system which is required is yet imported. So that is the one I was talking about, that's what they want, that if it is indigenized, then the cost of the entire system would come down drastically.
Yes, now your third question, please.
Regarding prevention of pilferage from the oil refineries to the oil depots, a lot of pilferage is taking place. Now, where does IT come into the picture? Now, if the truck driver on the way, he decides to open the tap, sell a little petrol and go off on his way. Now, how can you expect IT to prevent that? You get my point. The lorry driver who's transporting it in that big tanker, he opens and sells off 10% on the way and says, well, balance is evaporation or it's spilled on the way or there was a mistake in the weighment, etc. How can you stop how can IT prevent that? IT can tell you, okay, this was the amount that was there in the weighing machine at the refinery, and this is the amount at the depot when it is received. After that, what can you do if the driver sends it off? Now, how does...
This problem was posed to all of you by me only, and this was again based on some interactions with a Bangalore-based company, I don't remember the name. So, IT can always do any kind of a job, what you were saying. At the point where the pilferage is taking place, immediately through a GIS-based system or a GSM-based system, this can be detected. The breaking of the lock can be detected, because the tankers are the locks are also very sophisticated. It's not very easy to open those locks, but still these locks are, they're just by brute force broken on the way, and when the person comes at the depot where he's supposed to deposit things, he says that it's a bad condition of the roads, I couldn't help it, it broke. So at that time when it is happening, if he's caught, then it will actually reduce this kind of thing, because they will know that yes, they can exactly pinpoint the location at which it happened, and they can even mobilize the people immediately. Some of the nearby people can be mobilized to catch these people where pilferage is happening. So a foolproof system is required.
That means satellite based.
Not possibly, yeah. So if you got, I can always give you contact of that company, and they'll be very happy. Yes. There are some ideas and innovations are required.
It just hit in my mind that how will you stop that direct dishonesty of the truck driver, a lorry driver, if he wants to make money?
Yeah, I'll just give you okay. Now, this can be done by a GPS tracking system, wherein you will have a GPS instrument installed in your the truck, and it is connected to the tank. Anything, when you open the tank, automatically through GPRS it goes to a central server, and the owner of, in this case would be Indian Oil or BP, they can see this particular truck, they can get an alert on their mobile, they can see on this one, this has been opened on this track. Or even, not only that, they can also track the deviation from a particular route. Beyond that, that also can be tracked. So this is being implemented. Currently, I am advising to one company of such company, Calcutta-based company, not Bengal, and where Tata Steel's, any truck that goes out of Tata Steel, the name of the company is E-Trans Solutions Private Limited, any truck that goes out of the Jamshedpur factory of Tata Steel is being tracked that way.
Great, sir. I'm very happy to know that.
Okay. Any other questions, please? One more? Yeah.
Mr. Ray, are we thinking on a city Wi-Fi or something like that to implement in our city, Kolkata?
Wi-Fi?
City Wi-Fi.